Hey everybody, Chris Truder here, leading communications expert and business coach for Japan. How are you all doing today? It's a beautiful day. I feel like it's getting cooler. It actually is. I went running today, 23 degrees this morning, high today of 27 degrees Celsius, of course. So autumn is near. September 4th in Japan, Wednesday morning here in Central Tokyo. How are you all doing today? So anyway, I got started a little late today, so I don't expect a lot of people to be tuning in, but you definitely can tune in later on my Facebook page, Cranefield Communication, or Chris Truder, my YouTube channel. Introduction to Toastmasters, How to Find a Good Club, episode 29. So how do you find a good club in Toastmasters? Well, pretty easy to find a club, but how do you find a good club? So let me give you a couple tips to help you on your journey for hopefully joining Toastmasters. So first, very simply, go to toastmasters.org, not .com, .org. It is a nonprofit organization, Toastmasters International. And you'll notice at the top left, you'll see a login. You don't need to register to find a club, so don't worry about that. Of course, in order to register, you have to become a member. But there's a choice, find a club. If you choose on that, then a pop-up will come and you can find a club in your area. So if you live in a large city, it's pretty easy to find a club. There's thousands of clubs throughout the world. So, for example, here in Tokyo, well, Japan, there's about 200 clubs total, but over half of those are in the Yokohama, Tokyo, Chiba area. So, but now if you're out in outside of the city, there may not be a club, and that's okay. Just anyway, find a club and do a search, and you can search by time, by day, by the type of club. And anyway, usually most clubs will allow visitors and guests. But you can find that out as you search for clubs. Some clubs are what we call corporate company clubs. They're closed to the public, but not all corporate clubs are closed to the public. So I started at St. Jude Medical Club in Sylmar, Los Angeles area. And because the company made pacemakers, the name of our club was Toastmasters, District 52. It was a very good club. It was a company club, but it was also open to the public. So if you worked for St. Jude, the company would pay 50% of your dues. And the dues are really cheap. They're like $47 every 6 months. No big deal, even if you're paying 100%. And if you didn't work for the company, you pay the full $47. Okay. So next, as you find clubs, visit clubs, and if you're lucky, like I have been, the first club you visit may be the club you join, but not always the case. Every club has a different personality. So here are some things that you should look out for. So first, clubs in Toastmasters should have at least 20 members. That doesn't mean if they have less than 20 members, doesn't mean it's a bad or a weak club. But basically, Toastmasters says you need 20 members to start a club, and 20 members is the sign of a healthy club. If the club is less than 12 members, if you have less than 12 members, opposite, right? 12 members, then it's a sign that it's a struggling club. So if you like a challenge, you may join that club, but you can, ask questions and find out if they're a growing club. So if a club has a net gain of 5 members over the year. So for example, I'm in a club now, Minami Aoyama Business Toastmasters. We have 18 members, right? But last year I was the coach of the club because they were struggling. We started with 12 members. It went down to 6. And then by the end of the year, we were up to 17. So that end of the year, Toastmasters fiscal year or calendar year is not based on a calendar. It goes from July to June. So in July, we start a new club or a new year. And as you can see, we've added, so we have 18 members now. So our goal this year is to get 20 members, right? So that's one thing. When you join a club, the first thing you should look at is time management, okay? Do they start the club on time, okay? If they don't start the club on time, that's a sign that it's probably not a very good club, because in Toastmasters, we're taught the importance of time management. So does it start on time? Do they have an agenda? Okay. And do they follow the agenda? Do they try to keep the time? So not only do they start on time, do they end on time? Okay. So time management is very important. If you see a club that is a stickler on time management, that's a sign of a very good and strong club. Okay. Next, of course, the level of the speeches. Okay. Now, one visit may not be enough because you could have very good speakers, but they may not speak the time you visit. But look not only at the speeches, look at the evaluations. Okay. So are the speeches, number one, whether it's high level or a beginner, are they following a program? Okay. And that should be on the agenda. Is it a project, or are they just, is the club saying, oh, we don't follow any program? That's a red flag. Okay. So your speeches, you want to know, is there a project associated with it? And then the evaluations, whoever's evaluating it, how do they evaluate? In my first video, I talked about the sandwich technique. So do they use the sandwich technique? You know, plus, positive, plus. Do they give a good point, an improvement point, and end with a good point? Okay. And then are they evaluating based on the objectives of whatever the project is? If you see that, again, good time management, good structure, an agenda, and speeches and evaluations are based on projects from Toastmasters, that is a sign of a very strong and healthy club. And then, of course, lastly is more for this, for personal reasons. Every club, even if it's a strong club, they have different personalities. So some clubs are a little more business oriented. Some clubs are more friendly atmosphere. So again, if you like the atmosphere, if the people are friendly, in addition to all these signs that it's a good club, I would definitely recommend that club. And, you know, if it's your first visit and you're just not impressed with that club, visit more clubs. Visit as many clubs as possible. And because it's free. Many clubs allow you to visit as a guest up to 3 times, and then you can't visit anymore unless you become a member, and that's okay. So visit as many clubs as possible, up to 3 times. And again, time management. Do they start on time? Are they following the structure? Do they end on time? Do they have an agenda? And are the evaluations, are they using the sandwich technique? If you can check off on all these things, then I highly recommend you that you join that club. Okay. And if you decide to join, let me know. I'll give you a recommendation. So thank you so much, and sayonara. Bye-bye.